a lot of times it's who you know in this industry in order to get an opportunity too, which
like
you need time to build that.
My thesis on the industry here is like, with all those other collectives and event organizer groups, like there's so much competition between all of them. But us as Just Streaming, we're the platform that like supports artists to get up to that level, right? So we'll help the artists get to a point where they can play on stage, and then who they work with after that is none of our business. But we're the ones to accelerate them through that initial like really tough startup phase.
Do a lot of hot takes on our episode. Do you have any hot takes? DJ hot takes, producer hot takes, pet peeves.
Manzone and Strong is overrated.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, there is no reason why you have the same artist play like fucking every single show. Like I remember going to some of the events, and like these are like trap artists, bass artists, right? And it's like, why am I listening to house music before this? Right? It's like it's a very gay kept thing. And that's
it's
really
not.
why.
It's not catered.
This is where it came down to. Is I find a lot of there's too much clickiness in Toronto, which has been and this is the one thing I wanted to ask you guys because I'm like, if you have too many artists come in, then will you have like a mini click where it'd be like, but it doesn't seem like that's
my philosophy is like we give an artist like 2-3 tries, and then like even if they're like very good at bringing people in and stuff, like why do you need more than 2-3 shows? And like we're helping them fill out the portfolio and like take pictures and stuff too, right? At that point you should be able to go and pitch to the artists, managers, and like with the skills and knowledge we give you should be able to do your own thing after that, right? So this is problem.
So that was one of the questions I had, but also someone told me like it's like that's their one worry is that they feel like they'll get stagnant in Just Streaming,
right?
Or like in a collective or in a community group. But are you finding that, or are you finding you're just giving up, like once again you're building the opportunity for them to take it?
I haven't seen the stagnation yet, and I think like once like one person in the community pops off, everyone's like, yo, I want to be that person, right? And it's like it gives you that motivation to go bigger.
I also feel like stagnation is like a personal choice as well.
Like
I feel like a lot of the artist's journey is how much you put into it. If you're putting into it a lot, you're going to see some level of return. Obviously, like what your connections currently look like. It definitely.
Toronto, how the fuck we doing?
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the BNB Hurts podcast, where we talk about all things EDM related. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're excited to welcome our two guests, Heather and Leo. Heather is known by her artist name Heater. She's a producer and resident DJ for Just Streaming. And Leo is known as ZhuKeeper. And he is a DJ violinist and the CEO of Just Streaming. So in today's episode, we'll be discussing with Heather and Leo the Just Streaming platform and their collective, their community presence, and the opportunities they provide. We will also get Heather and Leo's thoughts about the scene in general and their music.
But first, the two hosts for this episode is Christine, all the way on the far right, and myself, Sunny. So we'll be talking about all things Just Streaming and seeing what you guys are up to, what you guys have done, and your community presence, which has been quite substantial in the last 2 years for sure.
So how did you guys get started in this scene? Maybe your first festival or event?
I honestly got started into EDM when I was in high school, and I listened to a Steve Aoki track called Delirious. That was like the song that got me into EDM. And then ever since that, I've been like super into it. My first festival was Digital Dreams, and got into Chami, and the rest was history there.
What Digital Dreams did you go to?
2016.
Okay,
Wait.
Honestly, that's still the golden, like that time, that 2014 to 2016 time
2016 was tail end.
Yeah,
so she caught it.
Yeah, she caught the tail end of it.
On my side, I guess I've been listening to dance music since I think high school. Really got involved through like Monster Cat and just like listening to a lot of their music. But then when I went to U of T, like in my dorms, I was just like cooking on virtual DJ, and then eventually I was like, oh, okay, I'm like this thing's kind of cool. Started doing like deep house and like remixes of top 40s. Kind of went all around the different genres, and then now I'm primarily in like the bass side of things.
Were you DJing when I met you? This was like 2017, 2018.
I think so. Yeah, probably.
It's funny because I met both Leo and Heather. Wait, I met Heather through Leo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I met Heather through Leo, and at that time, I think it was pre-DJing for you for sure.
For me, yeah.
But I'm not too sure about Leo. I don't think I met him on like the basis that like he was DJing. So yeah, that's fun. And it transcended to a full-on career and being a CEO of a collective.
Eventually, just like us, eventually when you're in the scene too much, you're like, all right, what can I do more?
Yeah.
And then in your case, Heather, you're like, oh, let me pick up DJing, or like everyone starts off as a DJ, and then you look at producing.
Yep.
You look at where your roots are. I know with you, Leo, you were a violinist. You all have a musical background, so it just takes off from there. So what was the transition for you, Heather, to like, oh, let me pick up DJing?
Yeah, I've always been into music. I started off as a classical clarinet player. This is some deep lore right here. Like I started a clarinet when I was in grade 2, and I just kept going until the end of high school. Then like university started, and I was basically a full-time student with no hobbies. And then then I started working, and I was like a full-time working person with no hobbies. And then I was like, damn, who am I? And then that was kind of like also the time when COVID happened and when just streaming started picking up as well. And then I was like, oh, I could do this.
So you're in year 2 technically of your career, or like year 2.5, right?
Yeah. And it's been really good because I feel like everyone needs a creative endeavor to find like some type of purpose for themselves. Even this podcast too, it's a really cool kind of creative endeavor for yourself.
That just gave me chills.
And we've been we've been humbled too, because a lot of people in the community, like, yeah, we're small, we're growing, as with like just like you guys are growing too, but we've been humbled that the feedback we received from the community, right? Because it's like we're contributing in our own way that's not DJing or something. We're giving content to people to, you know, absorb some topics that people wouldn't think about that we're able to discuss, right? Because we're able to facilitate that. So we're excited where we're going to go. We're definitely excited where you guys are going to go, and we'll get more into that as we go on.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like building up like the whole ecosystem around the culture.
Yeah, lower it.
Oh, hi. It's like building up the whole ecosystem around the culture, right? Like it's super important.
Yeah, I know. So you have been taking a stab on comedic like TikToks, and like some of them are about your corporate life, but also a lot of them are about DJ life. Was this just like a hobby, or you're trying to like grow your platform for just streaming?
Honestly, I feel like that is me trying to find my unique brand and something that's authentic to myself, because I find that whenever you are an artist and you're not authentic, you can always kind of tell this person's trying to be something they're not. So I'm looking at different aspects of my life and then seeing which parts are really important to me and unique about me, and then make them sort of my brand. So
nice.
Yeah, Heather actually gave a talk, I think last week, right? About how like you can prioritize your life goals and like the things that you're actually doing for it. And it was like, it's really cool to see her like break down like, oh, these are the things that are important to her, and how she like puts time in to make sure that it happens.
It's good, because that's the hardest part, because we're all working full time. This is technically our passion, right? So you have to have the drive and have to find the motivation, where each person's different, in order to continue and grow, right? So it's good that you can sit down and actually tell people like, hey, this is what works for me. I mean, like, you have to think about what works for you in order for you, if you personal, company, small team, how you want to grow it. So it's really good. Yeah. We'll have that presentation link.
And if you're interested in the workshops, you could go to their page and check it out. But Leo, you've been doing a lot of like unique violin sets during your performances. Yeah, can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I played violin, I think maybe like 12 years, since probably like grade 3, grade 4 or something like that. When I was in uni, I played a little bit with the orchestra as well. But then after graduation, COVID hit, and then I actually got my laptop stolen. And had like a lot of my music on there, right? So at the time, I was doing a lot of like top 40s music and just like club tracks. But then it was like a really happy circumstance where it's like, oh, like I lost all my music, but then now it's like a fresh slate, right? So it's like really like, what can I do to stand out as a musician? So I'm like, okay, well, I've been DJing 10 years. I've been playing violin for even longer than that. What if I just like put the two together, right? And I think like Lindsey Sterling and a lot of the other like violin.
Lindsey Sterling,
yeah, Lindsey Sterling, huge inspiration.
OG.
That's what, it kind of just clicked, and I'm like, okay, like I can do this. Nobody else can do it. It's my kind of my moat, right? And the rest is. Yeah,
that's awfully resembles Brendan, who was on the episode too, and like how his take on what inspired him, and like once again, you have to be unique
Yeah, yeah.
Like you have to and also enjoy what you're doing. You can't just copy what's trending because what's trending may phase out. So you never know what could be the next aspect of. That's one thing we always like to look like as what is the next thing to blow up. Could be music, could be like style of music. Like right now, hard techno is popping off,
So
right?
big.
Because of TikTok. But what could be the next thing that's gonna pop off right now? I keep saying bounce. I don't know if
Like Melbourne bounce?
like in general we call it
Okay.
hard bounce.
Okay.
Like it's like essentially you're just bouncing while you're listening to it. But like
Bopping.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is similar
But
to Vina
Christine
House?
knows like
Vina House?
Yeah.
He's asking if it's like Vina House.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But it's like it could be influenced from Eurodance,
Yeah.
from trance, from techno.
Yeah, they're bringing in a lot of Eurodance nowadays. Even
Yeah.
like Dream State, when I went a few weeks ago, there was a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, congratulations on your upcoming gig with Elefante. Are you planning to incorporate your violin set there?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
like for the big ones, I'll pull out the violin, but if it's like a small thing, I'll just like, all right, freestyle.
yeah. So stay tuned. He'll be playing in Toronto.
You have any details about that you want to share with people?
Mm,
Like in general, just the show or
yeah,
anything?
so the show itself is part of the Cope tour, and
Okay.
I think like the album was made around like how Elefante was dealing with like a lot of grief and other emotions, and how he was like trying to use music to deal with it. So I think like for me, like I had a pretty hard year as well with like some family stuff, and so I think like I really want to put more of like an emotional side to the music, and especially like I think I'm the first opener, right? So I get to actually like play like more down tempo and have like go a little bit more deep as opposed to like a normal like main time set.
So look forward to that Toronto and Nearing City ravers. Yeah, so another question I wanted to ask, how has your music taste like changed over the years in terms of like probably like DJing or producing? I know Heather's like very much like DJing a lot of house and more techno, right? I know you played at Comfort Zone. That's so exciting. I find that like a girl DJ at Comfort Zone is just like so mesmerizing.
what time slot did you have?
Yeah.
At an early time slot.
Okay. So it wasn't
yeah.
anything
Or at
like
least like 2 a.m.
Like
right?
demon hours.
yeah, because I've had friends at the 8 a.m. time slot. And they're like,
Oh my
yeah, I
gosh.
literally they're like, yeah, I
They woke
literally
up for
felt
it?
and literally it's just like, yeah, I went to bed. It felt like I was going to work, and then I went to Comfort Zone. I just like felt so weird. But that's the demon hours they call it.
So how has your like DJ producing music and music taste changed? You're only on year 2, but maybe we
Yeah.
could like see if there's any slight changes or you're looking forward to anything.
There's definitely been slight changes for sure. Like I started off with house, and then I think it was this year EDC. I was with our friend Fabio, and then we went to the techno and trance stage a lot, and that's when I started really discovering, oh my gosh, this is really cool. And then I started to listening to more of it, and that became something that I'm kind of driving towards and expanding my library with. And in terms of production, I've actually also been trying to expand my genres as well. So outside of producing techno, I also started exploring this genre called intelligent dance music.
Oh, okay.
And
Big brain.
and the name sounds hella snobby.
Yeah.
It makes me
But-
think of Elon Musk's robot, the Tesla
Oh, yeah,
robot.
the Tesla
The
robot.
name is hella snobby, but it actually just means you're like listening by yourself. Like it's made for individual listening, like when you're doing deep work. That's why it's called like intelligent whatever, because you're like doing work. And I started producing this type of music because I find it to be really relatable to what I'm doing, because I like spend a lot of time doing work, spend a lot of time like doing some reading, and then I listen to it and I'm like, okay, I could make something like this that can fit people's needs for like individual listening as well on top of partying. So
What
that's
would
something.
you say the genre is close to? And how's the BPM?
Could it be like a little lofi?
Yeah.
Lo-fi?
Okay.
Yeah, so-
lo-fi, lofi.
So it is about 140 BPM as well.
Okay.
Okay.
But it's very like minimalistic and there's not a lot going on there. I would say it's kind of like lo-fi and like house
That's
blended
interesting.
together. Yeah.
Classical lo-fi.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
think it's like some like JEDM, like Japan. Like Japan has some.
Oh,
like,
you mean like those ambient sounds that
Yeah.
they have?
Yeah.
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 Have you ever gone to the website that has all the sounds?
Yes.
Oh man, it's a rabbit hole. If you haven't checked it out recently, it has all.
I need a link
the
to
sounds.
this. I need a link to this.
We'll have a link also in the episode, but it's literally every sound you can think of. Like, it's actually some genres it's like what? That's a thing. But yeah, it's go down the rabbit hole if you're interested.
Speaking of you getting into techno, Fabio is also a just streaming DJ, right? He plays a lot of good techno with Kurotech, right?
Yes.
Is that it?
Yeah.
That's his name.
That's his like duo with
The duo, yeah.
With Dennis, yeah.
Yes. So check that out as well. But yeah,
But
Leo.
EDC, like you mentioned EDC, it is, we've always said this, it's like the perfect breeding ground in North America to discover new music.
Yes.
Because I do give credit to Insomniac. They do try to pick up on what's trending. We do find that a lot of us love Euro music, like on our end. We're like deep in the techno scene, but a lot of that music doesn't come here for like 2-3 years. But Insomniac's the first one to like kind of take a stab at a couple artists.
Yeah.
Because like I Hate Models, for example, blowing up huge now.
Yep.
But he was at EDC a couple years ago,
Yeah.
right?
True.
Like and it's like, oh, you need to check him out, but like no one really knew it.
Yeah.
So they're always, you never know whoever's at EDC on like one of those small stages, they'll be literally on one of the main stages very soon. So
Random side aside, I Hate Models. I really like his DJ name because I read this take that it's not actually that he hates models like fashion models, but he hates systems, like models of things and systems, and he's like very anarchist.
his visuals too kind of represent that too.
Yeah.
Where it's
That's
like
cool.
8-bit, like a little bit like anime-ish and
And that gave me a different take on his name for sure.
And that's where the creative aspect comes in on like owning your music and like developing your brand, right? To make it unique, which is like something everyone can relate to in the industry. So
What about you, Leo? It's been quite a few years.
Yeah.
And I think you've slowly started to wrap yourself around your violin more in your sets. So,
I think it's like when I first started playing with the violin, it was like I had to like kind of figure out when am I taking off the violin, when am I putting it on, like really figure out all the transitions and stuff. But as I started getting like more familiar with Ableton, just like making edits myself, I could like, take a track I'm gonna play violin on, connect it to the transition out track, and then like I can just freestyle at that point, right? So it's really about like getting good enough with the technical parts that I can just do whatever on the spot. Because I think like when I was making sets like just front to back, it was like not as creative as you could be in the moment, and just getting that freestyle.
I hate models. No structure.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
well, sorry, I might have missed it. What was the genre you started off with?
I started off like, I think it was like deep house, tropical house.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty jokes. And then I went to like bass house, and then from bass house I went to trap. And then from trap, I went a little bit into like melodic dubstep.
Yeah.
Like pure dubstep, couldn't get too much into it.
Yeah.
And then from melodic dubstep, I think I just like kind of went into like euphoric DnB. And then from there,
he
now I'm like,
likes that stuff.
I'm like very deep into like liquid DnB
I'm huge,
and
I'm
like
huge on
breaks and breakcore is a big one. But yeah, like I think DnB like really popped off in the last 2 years ish. So I'm trying to like
incorporate
go
that
away
into,
from it.
Oh, you're trying to go away from it?
Yeah.
You know what? That's good because once again, a lot of times they call like hard techno TikTok. It's all TikTok based.
TikTok techno.
But like DnB's been around forever. It's just had its resurgence in North America because of Chasing Stats, Batadon popping off, right? I hope it continues because I love drum and bass, but you never know, right? So like you can't be, as what you said, you can't be locked into like, following what's trending. Because then you'll eventually fall behind.
Gotta go to where the puck's going, right?
Puck's going, and also like if you stick to your brand, then you should have headway on like you could be the next big.
Because like Worship was playing at Cosmic Metal this year, and then now they're on the Electric Forest lineup,
and now they're doing Red Rocks too, first drum and bass.
Oh really?
headliner.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
And then yesterday in New York they had DnB All Stars.
Oh yeah, that's
and then Chase and Sass did a pop up this week in Santa Monica.
Last week.
Was it last week? Okay,
last week, yeah.
Last week as we're recording this episode, which is in early December.
You guys are so plugged in.
Oh yeah, just seeing friends' stories. 'Cause I have friends in LA, and they go to all these pop-ups. Because I guess they all work from home, and some of them are like self-employed.
We get FOMO a lot, so we pay attention to everything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there's
even
that.
not in Canada. We're just like, oh man, we want to go.
So I'm gonna plug Jungle right here. Coffee Shop Jungle is a playlist that exists, and I actually studied to that one because it's just ambient jungle music. It's not 140, it's like 175.
Oh,
right?
I like
It's gigabrain
Hype
music.
EDM.
So back in I'm the older raver on the team.
Yeah.
I'm
Sure.
in my 30s. When I was in school, I used to listen to jungle all the time.
Yeah.
That's where my trance and drum and bass background comes in, because when I used to study, I used to listen to jungle.
Okay, yeah, we're
Yeah.
connecting on this side.
It's good. It just
Yeah,
it
yeah.
keeps you focused with the beat. So it's been
Anything
really
above 160 is a bop to me, to be honest.
Oh,
Faye?
that's another question. Do you guys like a crowd around you when you're DJing? Like anyone, like, you know
Probably
how
not, right?
nowadays, like, you see all these phones just all around you.
What's
or,
the
like, people-
face-to-face one called? F2F?
F2F.
F2F.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big popping up in Europe right now. Which is
I
pretty good.
I do like people being around me actually, but just like not super close, like still having some distance, just so you're not touching and like
Yeah.
messing up my transitions.
Yeah,
It's just so you know
But-
that other people are vibing.
Yeah.
nearby. Okay.
Do you
Yeah.
like when people hover over and look at your track?
I'm kind of flattered,
Yeah.
not gonna lie.
See,
I would say
I
that's
do that-
flattering.
I
would
do
say
that-
that's flattering.
I do that so much, but apparently it's like some people don't like
Some
it.
people are defensive of their tracks. Yeah.
I was like, I want to know what you guys are like.
I guess it really depends, because if it's an artist that has a lot of releases, personal releases, then maybe they don't want that shared. But
Yeah.
I know as like
Yeah.
a lot of our local DJs, oh, why wouldn't you want to? It's like,
Yeah.
oh man, you
like my selection.
you transition that into that. That's really good. Or like,
Yeah.
what is this track that
Yeah.
you're playing, right?
ID by ID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because have you guys done production? Have you guys made
Yeah.
your own? You have?
Yeah.
Okay. But anything released?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where can we find this?
On Spotify, it's under my artist profile, Heater. My
Ooh.
song Night Train is out as of August 8th, 2024. So go check it out. And I'm going to release a few more songs next year.
Very cool.
Ooh, there we go.
Nice. How about you, Leo?
Yeah, I'm still cooking.
Oh, you're still-
You're still cooking. Always cooking, though, everyone.
Single releases or EP or just
It's like a slow cooker.
Okay.
Very slow.
Slow rice cooker.
Yeah.
But yeah, congratulations on 2 years of just streaming as of December 2024.
Yes, 2 years.
Thank you.
How'd it
Like-
go? How'd the party go?
Any
Party looked
like
good.
like retrospection type of vibes?
Yeah, party was sick. We had So Sweet, I think. So Sweet
was cute.
made some cupcakes for us. And it was really cute because it was like an array of cupcakes. And then they had like just
The
Dreamin.
DJ names.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and all our DJ names. And
Yeah.
the cake
We'll
is
put
like,
a picture in the video too.
Yeah,
so-
the picture was sick. And it was great because the name is so sweet, but the cupcakes weren't that sweet.
Oh, really?
And it's like, it was very palatable.
It's just like how Asians like it, not too sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. It was an open decks with the community. Like, obviously, the birthday folks got to play a little bit more. But yeah, it's really nice to see like other people just like bring their USB. Like, we kind of tell them like prep it in advance, just plug in, show us what you've been working on. And for us, it's like a way for people to like democratize their music, right? Because it's so hard to get playtime in Toronto that like
Yeah.
people are just like jumping on any opportunity they can get. And
Yeah.
That's
especially like,
something I'll definitely want to touch upon later.
yeah.
but
Yeah.
But it's really like having a crowd there, right? Like anyone can just play to an empty room, but having the crowd there vibing to your music, like, it's a really cool experience.
Everybody's here for the DJs and for the collective. And just to preface, like a good like handful of the DJs on Just Streaming Collective have their birthdays around the same time, and that's what the cupcakes were for and everything. Is like a joint celebration. So yeah. The next question would be, how did the Just Streaming name come to be?
Or just the foundation of it. Like,
Yeah.
I think we're curious
Yeah.
where the origins, like who saw the need and like why did it start? Just like how we started the podcast.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. Okay, this is deep lore here.
Yeah.
Just Dreamin, it started off as the name of a DJ duo, but eventually it became like the name of the company. We started off as like a WhatsApp group chat, and there were like, I think like 20, 30 people in there. And we're just like chatting over COVID, and it's like, oh, there's nothing to do. Let's live stream, right? So we did some live streams. People like record their sets, sent it out to us, and then we did some. I think we did one with their sorority, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we had a few of the DJs on there, including DJ Malik, and it was for breast cancer awareness. So it was a joint event, and that's how I met some of the like then newer members, like Ryan Pham,
Yeah.
Ryan Mirage.
Ryan Mirage.
Yeah, that's how I met him online. He actually went to my uni, but we met through like connecting through my Greek platform with the collective to host a charity event, which was very nice. We all mentioned in previous episodes we had very much a big boredom at home, so those Twitch live sets were a great thing.
Yeah. So we did a couple of live streams, and then once COVID was done, we're like, do you guys want to do like an in-person event? And then so like I think 8 or 9 of us at the time. We're like, okay, let's throw some money together, let's book a venue, and let's invite our friends out.
Which one was that one?
This was called Masquerade at Taco Taco.
I was there.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
I
wow.
was there.
OG.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
our
yeah.
first event ever.
I have a legacy merch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did that event and then we sold out and we're like, shit, we made money. What do we do now? Right.
Oh.
And so from that point on, we were like, okay, let's be an events company. Let's do events. But then a lot of other companies started coming up and just like doing events because I think the barrier to entry is really, really low. Like anyone can grab a group of friends and just like organize a space, invite people out.
Do you guys think you guys were the first ones in our age bracket?
I think so. I think like the forcing function was COVID and the restrictions getting lifted, and I was like, okay, here's the opportunity, right?
And you saw the opportunity with like doing streams, right?
Yeah, I think we set up the foundation during COVID so that we could execute as soon as the opportunity came up. Where was I going with this? Yeah, so a lot of other collectives and other events organizers started popping up, and then we're like, okay, like there's not a lot of room for competition here. It's very, very saturated. So how can we build a business model that's actually sustainable and we're able to like, not have to rely on high risk events to make money as a company, right? And so that's when we started looking at like, okay, well, we were a community first. So how can we continue to emulate that experience and like get more people empowered to like pursue their musical careers? So yeah, we went from WhatsApp, moved it over to Discord, which is like a proper community platform.
I'm on both of them. I was on.
How was that transition? Easy?
Oh, not easy. It
That's
took
why I
us
said-
half a year. It was a half a year
Half a year
endeavor, but
transition,
we
yeah.
knew it was going to be really, really hard. But I think that was like actually the first 6 months of 2024. We spent like just moving people.
Yeah, they were like, "Get off WhatsApp! Like we're not there anymore." And people kept like messaging me like, "It's on Discord."
Yeah,
It's honestly been so worth it though, because like WhatsApp, very good chat app, but like limited functions for
Like
other
files.
like multimedia and like different
Yeah.
channels. And
Yep.
Discord has been so much more helpful.
And it's connected to other apps like Spotify,
Yeah.
Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
League.
I mean, you might as well game, right?
Yeah, we came
Yeah,
together.
no,
Yeah.
like before our podcast meetings or after too, you just see like Sunny on like playing or whatever. And he's like
Yeah.
listening to something. But yeah, it's much more better on all functionality. Yeah.
Did you in the initial phases, did you take any inspiration from other cities? Did you look at what any other cities are doing, or
Actually, I didn't. Like, yeah, I was just like, I want to do something, and I just did it. And then it turns out like there were other people doing similar things. So I kind of look at them for inspiration here and there.
do you know now of any other cities you're collaborating with, or is it still just mostly Toronto?
No, like so our mission is to like foster specifically Toronto-based talent
Yeah.
from local spaces to global stages. So really like giving people the tools and resources that they need and the knowledge to go from like literally never touched music before to like how do I launch my artist brand and then continue to go on like find a manager, etc. And then the rest is their career.
So looking for a manager, are these resources you have already or that you know? Because I know a lot of you guys on the in the collective just work to brand yourselves and manage yourselves, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I think most people are self-managed for now, but I think there's a lot of people who are like on that cusp of like, breaking out. And for those people, I want to make sure that like they have the resources to succeed once they hit that point, right? So I think we have 2 people who are currently managing artists in our Discord right now. And so like they can be like a good foundation to start that off with. And I'm also trying to get like speakers who are currently managers of other artists to come in and just like give talks on like, how do you find a manager? How do you like stand out and like be...
Yeah, this is stuff they don't teach you.
Yeah,
right?
I
It's
know.
just like-
Exactly.
it's
For sure.
And I guess before you, your thought, how did it influence you, Heather? Like joining Just Dreaming and like where all the seminars are doing, how did it affect you in your career?
It definitely affected me greatly because I would say like I was kind of DJing in my bedroom like most people during COVID, but I didn't really get the first live play opportunity until I played an open deck at Just Dreaming. And then after that, I was like, well, this is really fun and really put me down the path to keep pursuing my artist journey. And it's really encouraging to see other people doing it and then seeing that there can be success around you, because that's also something that was really encouraging to me when I really didn't see like a path forward almost for myself on how to grow as an artist in Toronto with like not really like entertainment related network. So it definitely helped me a lot for sure.
Yeah, for us, it's like really that aha moment or that magical moment where like you're on the stage playing your tracks out to an audience for the first time. Like it's such a magical experience, and I think
Yeah, that's
everyone
true.
remembers like their first time. So this year we had 40 artists play on our stages, And I think was it 58% of them, right, actually debuted with just streaming, right? So that's something that like we're extremely proud of. So you'll hear me say the stat all the time, but really it's like we're
That's
trying
a good
to
stat.
get, we're trying to get like as many people like if they want to pursue music, if they want to just put themselves out there, that have the platform to do that.
Because one thing we've noticed is, once again, cost of living in Toronto is expensive. Renting is also expensive, but you guys having the already established foundation pretty much eliminates that barrier for someone wanting to break through, right? So they don't have to because a lot of times it's who you know in this industry in order to get an opportunity too, which like
my
time
thesis,
to build that.
My thesis on the industry here is like, with all those other collectives and event organizer groups, like there's so much competition between all of them. But us as Just Streaming, we're the platform that like supports artists to get up to that level, right? So we'll help the artists get to a point where they can play on stage, and then who they work with after that is none of our business. But we're the ones to accelerate them through that initial like really tough startup phase.
That's so heartwarming.
No, that's good. That is true community, like giving back to the community. Right?
Yeah, I wanted to circle back. I know that like Tigress does like some managing work, right? I think I talked to her before. She said she was helping manage like a trance DJ.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, on a higher platform, and I know she plays for you guys. Yeah. So that was fun to know. But I thought she was gonna be like part of like the resources you guys could maybe use. Anyways, is there any biggest challenges you guys face within the first year of growth, or even up to the second year? Because there's different types of challenges as you go through, and sometimes it gets even harder. So
you mentioned how you did your first event. You guys actually net profited, right? It's like, oh shit.
It was like 1K.
That's a lot. 1K is a lot as a startup, right? Even for us, 1K goes a long way.
And at that point, you guys probably had like under 10 artists, right? So So based on that, like, what was your pathway in the first year?
So first year was really trying to get a foothold in the industry, trying to build up a lot of the connections, trying to build up the consistency of the events. We had to like build out a lot of, we knew we wanted to do this for a long time. So just building a lot of the systems and processes to get things running. It's really funny. Like we're an entertainment company, right? But we try to operate like a tech company. Mostly because like we're all in tech and
because of the tech and business backgrounds you guys have.
That's honestly our strong point, right? Like we set ourselves apart because everyone is so good like operationally, right? So first year really just getting things started, but then I think around second year is when we really started seeing like the need for community, the need to build a platform. So we started introducing more product offerings. Originally it was just like we have events. But now it's like, okay, we have events for people to showcase their music.
Just before you continue, what was the timeline on this? So when did Just Streaming start?
October 2022.
October 2022. Okay.
Yeah.
So as a company.
As a company.
Not as a duo.
Correct. Yes. As a company.
Okay.
That was our first event, October 2022. Okay. So 2022 is a wash. 2023 was like trying to build up consistency of events. We did too many, and a lot of us like kind of felt really burned out by that. 2024, we started looking more at the community aspect. So we had our big showcase events, and then we're like, okay, showcases, like it's very hard to get these slots, and we try to like put people in like B2B so that they can have more opportunities to play. And then we're like, okay, we need something else. We did it open decks. So this is like people just come in, plug their stuff out, and just play. And then we're like, okay, but there's something else missing here. Like we're not really doing anything to actually help people get started, which is kind of antithetical to our mission. So like, okay, Heather started a bootcamp, and that's like to really train people from literally never touching music before. And we have our synced-ins, which are just ways for people to come together, network, and like learn more about their profession.
And this is at Sleepless Studios,
right?
Yes. Shout out Sleepless Studios. I said great people. Maybe an episode soon.
Wink.
You mentioned the boot camp since we're on the topic. How did that go? So that started in 2024 that you spearheaded that, Heather.
Yeah, we actually started that this year because of the exact thing that Leo had mentioned. We noticed that like everyone who's joining our community has already had some DJing background, but I also know that there's just this little group of people out there who want to get started, who don't necessarily have friends who are into EDM and know how to DJ already. And it's really, really hard for them to get started. So I wanted to kind of reach out to those people and that exact demographic by kind of starting this Just Streaming DJ Bootcamp. In our first cohort started in August, we had 4 students. We have Sandy, Chef Jeff, we have Eugene, and we have Ali Khan. These are our 4 students. They're all amazing, and you should check all of them out, by the way.
Chef Jeff, Sandy C, and
Eugene and Ali Khan.
Oh, okay.
They basically started from like ground zero and then debuted 2 months after the bootcamp, and it was really amazing to see that growth and super rewarding for both them and our community to see them pick up on this journey. And that also helped us open to a different social group as well. That's not necessarily just within our collective and our collective's friends. So
do you consider them your kids a little bit?
it does feel like that. A little
Heather
bit,
was
yeah.
the coordinator, right? So she's actually the mother.
Yeah.
You're just like,
This goes back to our Greek roots, I feel like. Oh my god, because all three of us we were part of a Greek organization.
Yeah.
It always ties back to it. So funny. But yeah. So when's your next boot camp?
The next bootcamp is coming up February 2025. Our waitlist is currently open. You can check that out on the Just Streaming website.
There's a wait list.
There's a wait list.
So how big's your class?
Classes 4 people.
Okay.
Yeah, we try to keep the classes really small just so we can get hands-on instruction from the instructors. Yeah.
This is tailored experience.
Yes.
Yeah, we found that like a lot of people started off their DJing careers just like looking at YouTube videos, and it's like, well, it's good, and then you can like fuck around at home and stuff. There's nothing that like you can get from someone experienced telling you exactly what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
And playing on like state of the art equipment as well, just to see like, you know, where is the limit, right, for the tech.
yeah, you never get an opportunity to like just play around with equipment.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
We
it's
actually
like-
taught it at Sleepless too. So
Yeah.
shout out.
Just to round out this part of it, in the first year, so like within the collective, what was the thing that was like the hardest part for you in the first year?
Yeah, I think when you build up a community, it's you know, once you get a 2 scale and you have the network effects, it becomes very sick. Like I'm pretty hands off with the discussion now. People are just like contributing stuff on their own, and all the discussion is just flowing, right? But really like getting people comfortable, they're forming a new habit of like checking the WhatsApp.
It's like
checking the
intro working
Discord.
teams, like, right? You
Yeah.
have to rely on your inner working teams to like execute what
Exactly.
they're doing, right?
Literally
Exactly.
starting from the bottom. I feel like it's like when you want to be a sushi chef or something, you start with like washing the knives and like cleaning like the cork board,
The shark's fin,
yeah, the
whatever,
board,
wasabi
yeah.
thing.
So it's like even like checking messages,
Yeah.
the smallest things, yeah.
Yeah, so really building culture. That's the hard part. Culture is like one of the most difficult things to change, and like we're very proud of the culture that we've built, because everyone's just like, you know, just giving feedback out and delivering value to each other for like just basically for nothing, right? And a lot of times like it's hard to get personalized feedback, and like you have to pay what, like $50-$60 for someone to review your work. But a lot of people are just like, oh, like here's my ID, can you like, it sounds weird, can you tell me what's wrong with it? And people are able to just get feedback immediately with it, so it's really cool.
How are you guys refining the next boot camp? Because you know you just had your first one, right? So like any changes you could speak about, or
Yeah, for sure. So after the first cohort of the bootcamp, we collected individual feedback from each of the students just to see what they enjoyed, what they did not enjoy. And so from that, we got some really, really good insight on, you know, maybe we need more hands-on time. Maybe we need a break between section 1 and section 2 and just things like that. And I'm really excited for every future iteration of the cohort, because every time we do it, we're going to try to make it better and make it, you know, a little bit more interesting for the students.
Yeah, the most important feedback are the students. Right?
any themes?
Yeah.
Any themes? Do you try to hone them in on like a specific genre they like, or you're just trying to like give them like the whole like maybe intro? How do you say this? Intro starter pack. Maybe it's like a
Discovery of which
yeah,
genre might
big
suit
room, melodic bass. You know.
them. Oh, do they have because there's an application process? They probably mention what they're looking for in that. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. So one thing is the application process. We kind of look for like, are you into EDM? Like, what type are you into? And then another thing is, I would say it's probably the easiest to start off on house music.
Yeah, easy.
To start DJing. So that's where we start off in our first cohort. And one of the feedback that we had was actually we want to play different genres, not just house, in our classes. So in the second cohort, we're actually thinking of offering more like genre specific classes in the later on stages. So that's something that they can sign up for.
Yeah, I think that's part of that like personalized feedback too, right?
Yeah.
So within the collective, are you finding house is always the easiest one, right? But are you happy with the variety right now that you're seeing?
Yeah, we have really good representation. I think we're lacking a little bit on trance and progressive, but I think sorry, man.
Dream State hat
Dennis
right-
is leading the way.
Yeah,
Dream,
yeah.
Dream State hat right there.
Oh yeah.
Dream State hat.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are into like house techno because it's Toronto, but Toronto also has a very like burgeoning like underground, not a real underground, but like bass scene. It's like poppin'.
I
You just
do,
have to
I
find
do, I do
pockets.
know a lot of the artists on the Just Streaming side have been going to the drum and bass side.
Yes,
too,
yes.
which has been pretty cool to see.
Yeah, so we've been converting a lot of DnB people.
Because DnB is very hard to DJ and also make. I'm not sure about making music, but it's actually very hard to DJ. It's one of the fastest ones because of all the transitions.
Yeah. Well, that's a technical issue, right?
Still,
That's a skill issue.
But it's also the whole thing is like if you want to start as a DJ,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I want to like I always joke too because
Yeah.
I ID a lot of songs. I like listening to music,
Yeah.
but I don't DJ. But everyone's just like, oh, you should DJ. I'm like, yeah, if I DJ, I want to do drum and bass.
Yeah,
But I'm
yeah.
like, literally, that's probably like the hardest one to start off with. But I'm like,
I think DnB, if you just want to play like normal, like just track, it's fine. Like
Yeah.
y'all get it. But the fun part about DnB is like throwing doubles,
Yeah,
triples,
yeah,
just like putting stuff together and like just you're making mashups on the fly, right? And that was actually very characteristics of my my performance when I was doing top 40s, just making live mashups. So like I actually found really fun, just like
That's a good DnB DJ because I remember Andy C layers like 5 different types of
crazy.
songs.
Wow.
it's actually
Crazy.
nuts.
And he does like he doesn't have very many tracks that of his own. Like he just mixes.
Yeah, he just plays
Right.
everything.
Yeah. So DnB is really hard.
Do not ask me to ID any NDC set. I
Like,
could
Your
not
mind
do
will
it.
explode.
I could not do it.
Yeah, good point.
So yeah, why just streaming for new or current DJs? I know like in regards to that and in tying to like I know the collective has been having a lot of opportunities with opening with a lot of globally
Right.
known DJs, but lately I've been seeing that there's mainly like 2 to 3 like DJ like collective producing groups that have been like responsible for Toronto's like scene for opening and closing shows. So yeah, why you guys? And also, do you find that like, well, not do you find, but we did mention previously there was a saturation and like there's been a lot of like B2B openings, which you guys have also like participated in. Do you find that hard to kind of like promote yourself because you're like B2Bing with somebody?
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I'm gonna bring this back to like Okay, so the B2B part, right? Like a lot of people do that just like to sell tickets. More artists means more friends that you're like pulling, and people make more money through ticket sales.
Especially as
right?
openers.
Yeah, for us, the B2B is actually to strengthen the network effects in the community because a lot of people, they're like, oh, like, you know, I'm in the Discord community, it has 80 people. I don't know who everyone is, but then maybe 2 people have similar styles. They've never really interacted before, and they both apply to something, right? We're like, this would look really good together on the stage.
And it gets them to
Right.
talk.
It gets them to talk. They make
yeah.
friends, right? And that's
New
how
ISO
we,
knock?
yeah, exactly, right? And that's how we strengthen the bonds within the community and keep it like very stable.
So
right.
to switch over to Heather,
Yeah.
I know you've done one with Kurotech.
Yes.
But is there any other one? You can talk about. the
Does it get
Kurotech one.
chaotic when there's like 3 people
That's
on the
what I
deck?
was wondering, too.
Yeah.
There was actually only the 2 of us.
Okay.
Okay.
Myself and Fabio
Okay.
opening for that gig. My thoughts on this, I guess, I definitely think there is a saturation in the industry right now, and that's what makes it more important for new DJs to join a really solid community that actually is a community that gives you feedback, that gives you support, that wants to help you grow and see you succeed. Because I would say there's definitely some like exclusivity happening
For sure.
in the industry where it's really, really hard for a new artist to join. So once you have Just Streaming as your community backing you up, it's so much easier for you to reach out to these other folks because you can say, oh, we have this mutual, we have that mutual, and that really helps the new artists get started in the industry. And I would say that's something that happened with myself and Kurotech because they had a connection with King Queen Events, who was running Moxie, and without that connection with them, I wouldn't have had that gig to begin with. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, like 2 notes on this. One is going back to the beginning, right? Like when we first started doing our own shows, we're like, do we book international headliners or not? Right? That was actually a very key question.
That's a big question.
Yeah, we were like, why are we doing this? Everyone is already doing that, and also such a huge financial risk. So we decided to just go fully local, right? And then the other part to that is like a lot of collectives out there, like their lineups do not change over like, let's say a year or 2 years. It's the same people playing. And we actually found that like when we, in the first year, when we're doing a bunch of consistent events, if it's just the same people every time, your friends get fatigued, they don't come out. And so we're like, okay, we got to keep the lineups fresh, right?
Yeah.
Especially because like it's local DJs. So no people don't know, they go for the vibe. And so keeping that fresh roster is really important.
But is there a limit
What do you mean?
to the roster? Or like right now, Just Dreaming, how many artists are...
There's 40 this year that
40
you guys
40
did.
40 this
2024,
year. But
yeah.
do you find like if, say someone wants an opportunity to play, but
Yeah.
then you keep bringing in more people and they don't get an opportunity, then...
Well, so we'll kind of prioritize people who are actively engaged in the community
Okay.
And those who have not played out before, because we do want to see like what everyone's like, right? So we actually record these sets and we put them on YouTube afterwards so that we can at least have like some repository of the people who have played for us. Our like the number of people who come in every month is maybe like 2-3 DJs.
That's quite a
and
lot.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. We're like slowly growing. But there's also like churn in the community too, right? Some people, they just like stop getting involved. And so for us, it's really about like managing that and just making sure that like we can really democratize the process. And so with the open decks, like, you know, it's easy for someone to just come in and play. And then, you know, maybe if they really wow us with the open decks, we can say like, okay, that kind of gives you like us more confidence in booking you for one of our like showcases. Right? So yeah, that's kind of it.
So it's kind of more of a like, the more you're contributing to the system.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Like it's not fair to everyone else in
that's
the
true.
community
Yeah, exactly.
if like someone, nobody knows them, just randomly got booked. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. And they haven't done anything for
Exactly.
for the community.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think this brings up my other thought about like event fatigue as well. When you were talking about artist fatigue, like one other thing with like running local events is also how can we run events that's like interesting for our friends every time? Because you have this community, you have like these 40 artists, and then they're bringing their friends every time they have a gig. And then over a year, you've seen like similar events, you've seen like kind of the same venues. It's like, how can we make it more exciting for them every single time? And I think having one or two or like a few new artists is one of the ways to make it more exciting for our community of friends to come out.
Yeah, the new artists also bring in like for someone's debut, right? It's like
It's
the
a
most
lot of
hype
fun.
thing
Yeah.
ever. And like, for our students, like I think like our last event, like 30% of the attendees were from those students themselves, because they're just like, oh, my friend's playing for the first time. I can't miss that, right?
Yeah.
I want to shout out John.
Yeah.
One of our friends.
John, JAWN.
Because I was there for his debut too.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, this is hype just to see it.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
remember the Lunar New Year one was such
that
a
was awesome.
big like hit. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't in town, but I had a bit of FOMO. Everybody was there. Everybody was debuting. It was very hype.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can come to our next one.
Yes.
It's happening January 31.
And they're accepting applications right
yes,
now, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Applications close end of the year.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So remember to get
So-
your opportunity in.
So speaking about that, what is the application process for a new artist that wants to join Just Streaming?
So there's a Google form.
Okay.
And you go in, you type in like your contact information, you tell us a little bit more about your brand, what you hope to get out of Just Streaming.
Is this just to initially to
This is
apply?
to get into the community.
Okay, into the community.
Yeah, because the community is like it's like
oh,
it's
I also filled in a form. I'm part of the community. Yeah.
yeah, the community is like it's free to join. It's mostly just trying to like we are quality controlling the people who are coming in, because if someone's like, oh, I don't really have an interest in EDM, like why are you in our group chat? So we're really just looking for anyone with a artistic endeavor in this space. So whether they're like a vendor or they're a DJ producer, or maybe they're just making visual art, right?
Or you're a
So it's
podcast
open-
member.
it's-
Yeah, a podcast member.
Or it's open to like anything in the community.
Yeah,
Pretty much
yeah.
anything contributing back to our community.
It's a creative community, I would
creative
say.
community.
It's crazy because I've known like maybe the whole like collective, the main guys, for a while, but it took a while for my application to get approved.
Yeah, that's because we're slow.
No,
That's
no,
an us
don't say
problem.
that. There's a bar, quality assurance. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But
Now it's actually so you fill out the form, right? But if you haven't come out to one of our like Synced-ins, which are the like in-person networking events, we actually like recommend, we just give you free tickets to them so that you can come out and meet the team.
And these are at
These are at
Sleepless
Sleepless.
Studio.
Yeah. I think it's just like there's so many communities that are online, but like for us, the part that we're so localized to Toronto means that like that in person means a lot more,
Yeah.
right? So come out to one of the physical events and then meet the team, and then we just
It's
expedite
all about
you through it.
networking.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's the gist of it. Is like the networking opportunity you guys provide is
Yeah.
beneficial for
What
any
are-
new artists.
what are the types of questions, or what are the things that people bring up that you've met at Synced-ins? Like they've only you approved their application process and you met them at the Synced-in. Like you don't really know them from before.
Yeah. So we ask them like, hey, like, what do you play? What how long have you been doing it for? and
I
like
don't play.
or like just like what is your endeavor,
Yes.
right?
Oh, okay. What's
yeah.
your purpose?
How do you make it so that it's not coming out like how Christine's saying it, where it sounds like
What's your purpose?
Yeah, like where it sounds like interview, like just more natural conversation with that, because like at one point you're like, oh, I need to talk to you, I need to segregate you, I need to talk to you.
Yeah, so we have a community manager, right? It's Ryan. Like he would actually,
Mirage?
Ryan Mirage. We would like meet them first because he's the one handling all the applications.
Okay.
So he'll like, you're like, oh, you should talk to this person, that person, make introductions as necessary, so that it's like you're meeting people.
He's already helping the person coming in.
Yeah,
exactly.
okay. It feels that's very good that it feels natural that you have
personal.
one person contact to kind of guide you within. It's like HR.
It's also like
It's
an
just HR.
open. It's also like an open conversation, anyways. Like we don't make it really formal at our Synctons. It's not like a networking event where everyone's really hanging out there. And then if we see a new face, someone from our dream team will just reach out to them and be like,
Dream
"Hey,
team.
Yeah.
dream team." Someone from our dream team will just reach out and say, "Hey, like you're a new face here. Like, how did you hear about us?"
Yeah.
And then it'll be a natural conversation. And I think whoever is new and applying to join Just Dreaming would probably appreciate that too, because, well, if you're like blind applying to a community, you haven't met anyone there. Like, you don't really know.
That's where I'm
That's-
getting with this is that the intimidation factor.
It's so
is
scary,
just
like putting
Yeah.
yourself out there
Yeah.
for the first time, especially if
Yeah.
you're going alone, right? A lot of people
Right.
they bring a friend, which is like actually it's great to see like community referrals.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's probably the best way anyways.
yeah.
So there's referrals, and then you give them one free ticket, or they can bring a buddy.
It's usually just like for that person because Ryan is kind of like the contact person, right? So there's
okay.
like there's somebody waiting for you there, so at least you feel a little bit more comfortable
open
going
arms.
there. Yeah, just give you a hug, dap you up.
So what's your biggest accomplishment of 2024?
I think it's really unlocking the concept of the Lunar New Year party. I think that was something that was very underappreciated in Toronto. Like, I don't know if there's any other Lunar New Year parties that really happened.
It sounded very successful because I didn't go, so I'm just gonna say sounded.
At least in Toronto, I think it was probably the biggest one I was aware of.
Yeah, for us, it's like our community happens to be like very high representation from like East Asian locations. We're not exclusive. Like we actually like, anyone from any background can join.
We're also the same.
Yeah.
We just kind of started off
It
as...
just happens Asians love raving, right?
Asians love raving is essentially what it is, right?
Yeah.
But we like to emphasize it, right? Like you with your lunar event, me we like to emphasize it because there's a lack of it. But yeah, it's open to diversity. But are you accepting DJs from other regions for like stuff like the upcoming Lunar New Year one, or you're mainly trying to hone in on like this GTA community or Southern Ontario?
Yeah, if they're based in GTA, then that's fair game. But I think if they're like in Calgary or something, it's like unfortunately that's out of our reach. Right?
What about other areas in Ontario? Like, what if they're from Kitchener or like
Thunder
London?
Bay? That's Southern
I
Ontario.
think it's like case by case basis.
Okay,
Yeah, like
you have to see how much they're in town, right?
Yeah. Like we have some people from like Hamilton, for example, but if they're coming in town like pretty frequently, then it's like not a big issue, right? But like if you're in the community and we never see you, then it's like, are you really in the community? What's the point, right?
So one thing I wanted to ask, which we've already touched a little bit on, is the Discord.
Sure.
It seems like it's one of the biggest things that you guys have accomplished in 2024.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you guys are building on top of it? Like the Discord is like collaboration. Obviously, you guys can game. You guys can talk about peer reviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All your event postings, I'm assuming, are there and discussion.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to take forward with the Discord moving forward? Like, what's the initial?
So one program that we actually have in the Discord is called the All Access Artists Program. It's just abbreviated as AAA because if you go to like an event, all the VIPs or like the event organizers have like AAA on their badge. It's like they can go anywhere, right?
Okay.
So this is really meant to be our premium product for the people in the community. So they get like access to additional resources. They get access to discounted tickets to our partners. Shout out like History, Electric Escape, DNR. Like they get discounted tickets for those. We actually we act as the promoter, except we don't even take the promoter fee, right? We just pass the savings directly on to the community members. And then for like synced ins and stuff, we make recordings of them so that you can always have that knowledge accessible. So that's another perk that we offer. And right now we're just trying to figure out what does a very premium product feel like for someone who is trying to take their musical career seriously and just like trying to build a product around that. But like right now it's just Discord, trying to make everyone engaged. Have fun times.
Does the WhatsApp group still exist?
No.
Okay, so it's
done. Yeah.
Someone officially killed it.
Yeah, that's also a 6-month transition, right? Every month I was reminding people.
No, they ended up just removing everyone from the chat. That's how it ended.
Essentially.
Yeah.
You have to get to a point.
But it was crazy. I think we had around 47 people in the WhatsApp. and then like 43 of them made it to the Discord.
Made
So-
it.
Yeah. So it was like we had very low like churn.
That was pretty wild when that day happened, because the chat was just like, so and so has been removed, so and so has been removed, and then later on, like a minute later, it's like you have been removed from the chat.
You're like, oh my god, I'm next.
Oh man.
With everything you guys are offering, is there anything else that we missed that you want to mention?
Yeah, I feel like I want to mention a little bit about like artist education, coming back to our previous point about the boot camps. I do feel like coming back to our mission to go from 0 to 1, from a local bedroom to global stages. One thing that people experience is like you go on YouTube and you really don't see a lot of resources, or you don't get like real-time feedback. And I think one of the things that we're kind of still working on is the artist education aspect of it, whether it be about like industry itself, or how to DJ, or how to produce, how to mix and master. Like that's something that people struggle to learn more about, either because of financially or like because of, you know, your friend group. So that's something that I definitely want to improve in 2025, and it's definitely in the works. Nice. So stay tuned. Yeah.
Anything else, Leo? We're
Nope.
covered. Okay.
Yeah. I think this year, for 2025, right? It's my focus for the team was to really like thin down on our product offerings. We were doing a lot of different things, but it's like, okay, what's the stuff that's actually like going to drive our mission forward, right? And it's really the synced-ins, the showcases, and what was that? The bootcamps, right?
Bootcamps, yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the portfolio we have. And for us, like 2025 is all about like consistency, doing it, and like getting people out to the synced-ins.
So you're setting your intentions already. That's good.
Yeah. It's all that. Like we finished our planning for the year in like.
Did you have your
October.
retreat this year?
Yeah.
Oh, where was that?
Was it? It was somewhere
north.
Somewhere
Was
north.
it the same place as last year?
Kawartha Lakes.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is all the stuff you guys are looking forward to within. What is something happening within our Toronto community that have you guys excited about? Maybe like the upcoming EDM scenery, or anything related to that?
I say this, the sheer amount of shows that are happening at History is really good. History has been like,
and they've upgraded too, like
Yeah.
their sound, their
system.
setup,
Yeah.
everything.
I think
agree.
History is like premier venue for dance music events.
Honestly, I keep saying
They have changed into it because they started off as a more multi-purpose, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So what I've been telling people is that I just got a friend recently into EDM, and the first place I told him to go is History, because I'm like,
Wow.
it is the most easily accessible once you're in there. Like in terms of like, oh, if you want to go in the crowd, you can. If you
Yeah.
want to stay off
The
to the side, you
bar.
can. The bar is nice.
There's a merch
There's
area.
food even. There
Yeah.
could be merch. Bathrooms are nice.
Yeah.
It's just a good overall concert experience no matter what it is.
Yeah, if you get overwhelmed, go to the second floor.
Oh, my go-to spot is when obviously when people come in before the headliner, it's always
The
busy.
stairs?
The stairs.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the way I find History is that it's not the best sound. Not the
Okay,
best,
yeah.
but it's improved enough where it's good enough where even on that stairs, you get a good view and you can be out of the crowd
For sure.
and still have a great
Have
time.
room, yeah.
Or that back railing. That back railing is very underrated if you've ever watched the show.
railing.
Yes.
One
So,
thing
like,
about
Where the bar is, in between that, you can go
Oh.
like right behind that, like where the sound is, and then they have that elevated platform right there. It's really nice.
one thing about History that I'm really excited about is that all the shows happen early,
Yes,
and like
especially weekdays,
the
done by 11.
The Porter Robinson show started at like 7 p.m. and I was so surprised, but
like a
pleasantly
concert.
surprised. You get home at like
Which day did you go?
Thursday.
Okay,
Yeah.
You didn't.
She had work the next day.
You did not experience the Saturday Kygo cancellation.
Oh, gosh.
I was going to Porter
Yeah.
and I got caught out in the rain. And then I just see a wave of people just flooded on the streets because Kygo got canceled.
Oh my god.
Oh
and,
my
there-
God.
and then
Same
people are like
area.
trying to find
Tickets
to
to Porter.
Porter.
Oh my god.
and it's just like you know that mob mentality right outside like a mob
You
mentality
feel
when
bad?
like it's like I'm just trying to go in here. Can you guys like let me through?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
One thing before we kind of like bring this all together is we talked on the events you guys did. Anything you guys want to share on events coming up in the next year? You talked about the Lunar one.
Yeah.
Any
yeah.
other ones you guys want to mention that's coming up?
So we're doing 4 showcases for 2025. One is the Lunar New Year one. So that's in January. And then the one after that is going to be a pre to 420. So it's going to be 419.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, may or may not be weed themed. Not sure yet. We'll see. But we might theme it something else.
Yeah.
And then I think we want to do something for Pride. I think that's an important one. And probably close off with October Halloween again.
You guys have never done a Pride event?
We haven't.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
we did our Pride episode because once again, we have one of the largest like LGBT
Pride communities.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Pride
yeah.
communities in the
Toronto's
world.
sick.
So we're popping off
Yeah,
in terms
yeah.
of
Right.
events. So it's great that you guys can do
yeah.
something with that.
So that's what we're thinking, and then we are trying to get the community more engaged. So actually, this is a recent thing, and I haven't even announced this to the community yet. But we're
Exclusive
actually
news.
we're actually opening up the like dream team so that more people can just contribute. Because if you found like a lot of people wanted to do that, they just don't know how to, right? So
Sorry, when you say the dream team, you mentioned it earlier. What do you
yes,
mean?
okay.
Okay, what do you mean contribute to the dream team?
So the dream team, we've kind of expanded the entity to be anyone who wants to be involved with just streaming in a more like higher up capacity. So like
Okay,
any kind
like
of
management.
planning, content creation, whatever they want, just contributing back into the just streaming brand.
Okay.
And then like Heather and I were like leads for the dream team, so like we kind of do the higher up like planning and stuff. So we want to get our like really powerful community of folks to like help us with like maybe content creation, maybe they want to throw their own events and like just like do a bunch of like open decks, right? So I'm actually looking to pass the ownership of the open decks to the community so that we would give them the resources and like the structure to be able to successfully throw an event, and then they would kind of own like everything else.
It's like franchise.
Yeah.
You're franchising it out.
Heather actually did our first open decks event.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I did the first International Women's Day Open Deck event, and that was really, really
Oh,
successful.
yes, a Taco, where you guys all started.
Yes.
And I feel like this opening up the dream team to the community is like double side beneficial. It's beneficial for the community because they get to feel more involved in the community, and they have so much talent outside of like DJing and producing that they can
Yes.
showcase,
Like, everyone's
like-
like professional.
yeah,
stuff.
everyone's a professional. Like some people are experienced in like event planning, some people are like teachers. Like, there's a lot going on in our community. And then the other side for the dream team is that we get to focus a little bit more on the strategy, where the company is going, and then the community members can also focus more on the like execution aspect of it, and then be more involved.
Yeah, the execution is really hard. Like I think in 2024, the team the team of leads I think was 9 people at the time. We spent collectively like 40 hours a week just working on this project.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
On top of your normal job.
Yes.
As
Yes.
normal, right?
Yes.
It's gets tough.
That means the rest of the world ain't seeing you.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing you mentioned, the venues you've had. You want to give go through some of the venues you've worked with that any particular favorites?
Okay, so we work.
Any new ones upcoming 2025? You don't have to tell us though.
Yeah. Okay, so I was actually doing like some lore exploration on our upcoming venue. It's so this is the Lunar New Year one. It's at the Elmo Campbell. It's at College in Spadina, so very, very central. And I was looking at the history of it. It was built like back in like 1904 or something, and like a lot of really prominent like rock artists actually played there. And apparently there was like a Trudeau scandal, like old Trudeau, his wife.
Pierre Elliott Trudeau.
Yes, that Trudeau. He like there's some scandal around it. You can read on it on Wikipedia. I guess we'll throw the link in the description for that one. But yeah, like it's a very historic venue, and it's a very beautiful space too. And it's like the interior, it's like there's a lot of redness. So I was like, this is perfect for Lunar New Year, right?
And it's right
in
by
downtown.
Chinatown.
Yeah.
It's right by Chinatown.
Exactly. So I'm like, this is a perfect location. We're doing that there. Other venues we've worked with include the Rec Room. That one's really cool.
I like it when you guys use the
Yeah,
record.
yeah.
It's kind of
It's kind of
fun.
cute. I don't know, because I'm seeing you guys right now, because I
Yeah.
first met Heather at your place where you're living on campus, and it
Yeah.
was right by there too.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
in the
yeah.
area. Oh, it brings back. I'm gonna show up.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. The Rec Room is sick. Their sound system is amazing.
It's just for everyone. The Rec Room downtown, right?
The Rec Room
across-
downtown, yes,
right,
yeah.
right across
Yeah.
from
Like
Ripley's.
surprisingly, their sound is just like so good.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really good. It's really
Wait,
good.
So wait, do you have to bring your own speakers and set up? No,
Nope.
it's theirs.
It's in house. Yeah,
Oh, I did not know.
in-house, really good sound system.
Did you
And-
check? Oh, you checked the sound system.
yeah.
yeah.
And because like our we don't have like a specific genre that we cater to, right? So like our lineup, it can be pretty all over the place sometimes. So if you're like, hey, I'm not feeling this music, you can just go out, play some games, come back later, right? So like
okay.
Rec Room's really sick.
Mm-hmm.
Last year for Lunar New Year, we did at Forbidden City. That was a crazy one because Forbidden City is usually just like a hall, right?
Yeah.
But we're like, we need to do this. Well, I've been on this very much like we need
I was
to
very
choose-
curious how you guys were gonna make that second
I
room.
genuinely, if people watch this, I genuinely think they need to make some big changes to that venue.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are.
Okay,
I will
alright,
just say
that's
that
cool.
they are.
Oh yeah, so with the venue, right? I've been a big fan of having 2 stages for all the big events because I'm like, okay, people want to walk around. We want to give them like the music festival experience without the ticket price of it,
Yeah.
right? So we're like, okay, Forbidden City, you have that big hall. How can we create a second room? And turns out their little coat check space is actually big enough.
I was actually so like
Yeah.
when I heard, I'm like, how you guys doing 2 rooms?
Yeah.
And I get there, I'm just like, oh
Yeah.
I walk in, I'm like, oh, this actually works.
Yeah. So like their coat check room is actually big enough to do like a boiler
Yeah.
room-esque kind of thing, right? So that's what we did there, and we really
And
pushed
with the
their
candy station too.
Yeah, we pushed their
See,
capacity
you-
so
Did
hard.
you guys have to fight getting the coat check room?
We had to fight with their union.
Oh, really?
There's a union?
Yeah, it's a union of like technicians and stuff, but
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah. But fair wage for workers. We love that. We just had to like talk with them.
Yeah.
So using Forbidden Cities, like your partners throughout the years, obviously you're still growing. Anything you want to say about the partners that you've worked with?
Yeah, we have a lot of partners that we've worked with throughout the years, and either like in terms of like merch or like they're giving us like space, and just like so grateful that they're allowing us to like thrive in this community. And for us, like supporting locals has always been like the biggest thing, right? So we try to work with like local venues, especially like underappreciated venues.
I've seen like bars, like local.
Yeah, local bars, or like I'm enamored by like just transforming a space into a venue that like, you wouldn't
his old
expect.
frat house.
Yeah, we don't talk about that one. Yeah.
Nice.
So local venues, I think it's like really cool to do at like a claw game machine shop. There's a couple downtown.
Like how we did the.
We did an episode at
Oh, yeah?
one of the claw machine places.
Oh,
over
that's
here
really
at
cool.
Finch.
Cool.
Yeah. Shout out
Yeah.
to our friends up there, Andy.
Yeah, or like
Nice.
transform with Starbucks. Like there's a lot of opportunities, but unfortunately for us, it's just like there's a lot of like work behind it.
Yeah.
So like if pass it on to the community wherever they want to throw something, we're down, right?
Yeah.
Like if it aligns with our mission, like let's go for it. Yeah.
Nice.
We transformed the chat time this year.
Oh yeah.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the help of Eunice and David, right? Helium?
Correct.
Helium? Yeah.
And I think Tenji was there, and also Ghost Stop. Yeah.
Oh. What were they playing at that one? I feel like
Yeah.
that one's more of like a mellow K-pop, J-pop
Yeah.
EDM.
Yeah. It was actually really nice because you got to see people's like softer sides.
Yeah.
Because like you're not playing bangers at Chow Time.
Yeah, cue Eunice Jasmine remix.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. I really like that one because I think it adds to our like variety of experiences that we put on, coming back to the earlier point about like
La Boba.
A diverse
Yeah.
palette.
But they may
diverse
not want
palette,
to go to an event at night, so might
Yeah,
as well
yeah.
go to a boba event.
yeah. Gotta give it some like diverse experience for everyone to go to. It's not just like all bangers and you're like not getting to talk to each other.
So anything in 2025 that you guys are cooking up for one of
So
those?
I feel like it's like maintenance in 2025 for you guys, right? Or expansion.
It's consistency of execution.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Consistency. So it's not.
As what you said, you're scaling down the amount of events to put more focus. Like that was the 2024 where you're not doing as many events and you're focusing on.
Yeah,
like, the
2024 was like a very foundational year.
Yeah.
I think it was like characterized by that Discord migration and also just like finding product market fit with the things we were doing. So now that we have like found pretty good fit, we're like, how can
Yeah.
we execute
Perfecting
on this?
the skill.
Yeah, execute on this every single time, right? Like
Yeah.
no failed events, no non-profitable events.
Yeah.
And then after 25, then like
It's expansion. Could be.
maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
So, is there anything you want to have a discussion on about our scene? Just to open up the floor, we also do a lot of hot takes on our episode. Do you have any hot takes? DJ hot takes, producer hot takes, pet peeves.
Manzone and Strong is overrated.
Oh,
Yeah, there is no reason why you have the same artist play like fucking every single show. Like I remember going to some of the events and like these are like trap artists, bass artists, right? And it's like, why am I listening to house music before this? Right? It's like it's a very gate kept thing. That's
It's
really
not-
why.
it's not catered.
This is where it came down to is I
Yeah.
find a lot of there's too much clickiness in
Yeah.
Toronto, which has been and this is the one thing I wanted to ask you guys because I'm like, if you have too many artists come in, then will you have like a mini click where it'd be like, but it doesn't seem like that's
yeah,
the
my
foundation of it.
philosophy is like we give an artist like 2-3 tries, and then like even if they're like very good at bringing people in and stuff, like why do you need more than 2-3 shows? And like we're helping them fill out their portfolio and like take pictures and stuff too, right? At that point, you should be able to go and pitch to the artists, managers, and like with the skills and knowledge we give you, you should be able to do your own thing after that, right? So like after you played a couple of times, like there's no point in you playing anymore. So like even with the dream team, right, like we barely play because like we kind of established ourselves through our events that we don't need to do that.
So are you just stepping back as part of the dream team and then taking on gigs on the side? Not as just streaming?
Yeah. So you'll see like me and Charles and like Raph and Mazzy. We get booked on stuff like outside of just streaming.
Okay.
And really it's like, those are the ones that really matter for career trajectory, right? Like just streaming is like, oh, I am a DJ now and I can bring people and I have some kind of like a portfolio to behind my name, right? That's what we're providing for people. And we go 0 to 1 and then 1 to like whatever else that's somebody else's problem.
So that was one of the questions I had, but also someone told me like, it's like that's their one worry is that they feel like they'll get stagnant in just streaming.
Right.
Or like in a collective or in a community group. But are you finding that, or are you finding you're just giving up, like once again, you're building the opportunity for them to take it?
Yeah, I haven't seen the stagnation yet. And I think like once like one person in the community pops off, everyone's like, yo, I want to be that person. Right. And it's like it gives you that motivation to go bigger.
I also feel like stagnation is like a personal choice as well.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a lot of the artist's journey is how much you put into it. If you're putting into it a lot, you're going to see some level of return. Obviously, like what your connections currently look like, it definitely affects your trajectory. But like if you're feeling like you're stagnating, it's not because you're in a collective. It'll only help you, in my opinion. And if you're stagnating, maybe it's because you're not working in the right direction yourself as an artist, or exploring yourself outside of the collective enough to see what other things are out there for you to do.
Because networking is so important as a DJ, right?
So this will be a little hot take from my perspective too, is that part of like contributing to the Just Streaming group, would you find if you wanted to grow your own career, if you're contributing too much to just streaming, it's going to have an effect on, like, where's the fine balance on that?
Yeah, that's actually a really great question. And like some people from our dream team, like in our new year planning, they've actually moved over to an advisory role because they want to spend more time like on their own career as well, right? So I think just streaming is a collective project and everyone puts in as much time as they can. But if there are other life priorities, like for me, I tell people like, hey, like your career is first, like family, career, and then like just streaming should be like, somewhere near the bottom, but something that you're still willing to contribute to.
Yeah, because one of the things was becoming stagnant, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to give back to the community.
Yeah.
But then it's affecting my other aspects in order to do it.
Yeah, like honestly, in life, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Like,
true.
Yeah, like you just do whatever you like, and if like contributing to the community feels like the right thing for you to do, you feel like you connect to it. Then
That's a great.
So who's on the advisory team now? Is that like exposable?
Yeah. It's actually on our website, juststreaming.com.
Okay.
We have 6 people.
Oh, wow.
We have Simon. He is a representative from Monster Cat, so he kind of shows us like what does it look like inside of a label, right, and how to like have that operational stuff set up correctly.
Is he stationed in Vancouver or?
He's in Toronto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Has he done any seminars or?
He will be giving a talk sometime in 2025.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
I
would like to go to that.
Yeah, we have Stranger. He is like one of the legends in drum and bass production. That's why also just drum and bass.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's been super cool. He gives a lot of like I think he's been in the industry like longer than I've been born.
He's so well known.
Yeah.
It's actually like he's not a global artist.
Yeah.
But he's a very production
regional,
but also producers know him because of his YouTube, his
globally
tutorials.
All the producers,
all of them know him. All the UK guys actually know him. So when they come here, they
look for him.
Yeah.
They look for him, but he's not a worldwide DJ. He just does local stuff.
Yes, he does local stuff.
He likes where he's at.
Yeah.
His YouTube, I was at his 100,000 party.
Oh yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
That's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. So he helps us a lot. There's so much wisdom that he gives, and I think we had him for One Synced In previously, and I think the next topic that he's going to talk about is like using generative AI to help with the creative process.
Big thing right now.
Such a cool topic.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for him to finish that one up.
Yeah.
We have Tina. She used to work at Nike for their marketing department, so she's very much on like the strategy side of things, and she's the one that like kind of bounced my ideas.
Now she works for a streaming platform.
Yes, she works for a streaming platform now.
Wink.
And then we have the people from the team who've moved over to advisory. So we have Learion Raph. He's like blowing up on TikTok. Making everything. So we're like, yo, like you need to blow up and then come back and tell everyone how you did it.
Oh, really?
Right?
He's blowing up on TikTok?
Yeah, no, if you look at his TikToks, originally when he first joined Just Streaming, he was already having a following. And then now he's like in like collaboration with Cass, right?
Yes.
He has vocalists now. to
Oh,
like amplify.
this is the interesting part, because as someone who's like gone to events, I see artists come and go. I'm like, where are they now? It makes a lot more sense now that I'm talking to you guys about
they're at the
your
top
process.
like this.
Well, that's the thing. You're just like, oh, where'd they go? But as you're allowing them to do their own thing and still contribute.
Yeah, we are so bullish behind Raph, and we think like, he's gonna pop off, and then when he comes back to the next thing that he talks to, it's like there's gonna be so much wisdom from like his experience in the industry, etc.
Nice.
Right. We have Jeremy.
Jer?
Jer.
Original founder.
One of the original founders.
Yes.
He really helped us like stand up our entire marketing division, like, and our whole brand identity is like created by him. And also lastly, Aaron, DJ Malik. So he's like putting a lot of effort into his like wedding entertainment business, right? So
he does a range of things.
Shout out Malik Entertainment.
Yeah,
he does hair, photos, weddings.
I don't know how he has time.
Gosh, the haircuts.
yeah.
Shout out Vivian, his wife, for
Have you guys
managing some of
utilized
this.
any of her animations? His wife's?
Yeah, so we actually have if you've been to our events, there's a little disco ball animation, and she made that loop for us.
Aw, that's
Yeah.
Okay,
cute.
nice.
Yeah. So that's actually our default one because the file size is small.
It's all communities because if you know, Tina and Jeremy are engaged. So
Yeah.
it's a whole community. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
We love that.
Yeah, so like our advisors are sick, and like they really like they're there for us to like bounce ideas off them, and when they see us doing like some weird stuff, they'll be like, hey, like look out for this.
Nice.
Well,
And all on the website, right?
All on the website.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah.
yes. Any final thoughts, Heather?
Final thoughts?
Look forward to the boot camp. You'll be still.
Yes, look forward to the boot camp next year. And if you are someone out there who feels like you want to do something, just do it. Just follow your dream.
Just do
You're
it.
gonna find a way. You're gonna find a way. Just stay dreaming.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
I guess I never actually said
in,
like
in your dreams, guys.
yeah.
This is also OG merch.
I'm your dream.
In your dreams.
Okay, I said it right the first time. Like, wait, did I read that wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the Just Dreamin name now has really like evolved to be like, people have a dream of like going to the artist thing. It's kind of like a play on like the American dream, right? But American dream is like kind of scuffed. So Just Dreamin.
Oh, Heather, anything about your artist direction? Like your producing career, DJ career, anything? I know you mentioned it earlier. Anything last minute things you want to say about it?
Yeah. Last minute thing about my artist journey, I think it's just having no boundaries on it. I think like I started off being like, okay, I'm gonna be like a techno
Girly.
That's who I am. But I'm independent. I can do whatever I want. You just do whatever you want, and you started doing it for fun. So you just follow your heart, And I feel like that's
Goes
what
back
makes
to
it
the
fun.
main point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, look forward to her upcoming gigs and the song more songs that are gonna be released on Spotify. So
Yes.
yeah, well,
Leo, any
Bro-
last
bro.
thing? Any last things?
Yeah, I think like with the whole like Ink and I think Ink actually made some acquisitions recently with more like bass related music, and so I think it's a positive direction where like the bass communities that were acquired, like they are actually like more locally driven, and so I think it's a positive direction for the space, and I'm excited to see like what's rest for the Toronto industry.
So glad you mentioned that. It's something that we brought up on the last couple episodes too, where I'm appreciating the collaborations that are happening.
Yeah.
To an extent, because I feel like there's also like little groups forming, but I appreciate, because in the end it's all about the Toronto community, so I appreciate these collaborations, trying to get either more artists here, more events here, more venues. That's a big thing right now. More venues, right? More people willing to take chances. Another thing is that collaborations allow for more capital, which also helps.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to all Toronto organizers.
yeah, and thank you for having Just Dreaming, Heather and Leo, on our episode. So thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. If you enjoyed and want to support us, please share it with a fellow raver, like and subscribe. Do leave us a comment or a DM if you have any questions or feedback about this episode. It would mean the world to us if you did so. And just to wrap it up, this podcast is audience funded, so if you want to go above and beyond and support us, there is a PayPal donation link in the description. If you guys are looking for a new pair of earplugs, we are affiliated with Hears, a brand new company based in Netherlands who recently partnered with Verknip events and the official earplugs for ADE. So you get a massive discount when you partner with a friend, buy in groups, and we suggest buying them in 4 to 5.
Oh, before that, what earplugs do you guys use? Like that's
We actually made Just Dreaming earplugs
Just Dreaming
recently.
earplugs.
Oh, really?
Oh,
We started
We
promoting
only
it.
use
but-
Just Dreaming earplugs.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So we also have a 10% off discount with Sound. Maybe we'll get some discount codes with Just Dreaming soon. So
Yes, down.
So a couple of us on the panel personally use a bunch of these brands. So yeah, please remind yourselves and your friends to protect your ears at events. We are longtime ravers, and I've suffered the effects of not using earplugs. So with that, see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.